In a 2017 census study, there were only 395 female-owned businesses in Denton, Texas. These businesses offer a wide array of solutions, goods, and services, from homemade trinkets and stickers to entire business models customized to your heart's desire. The women of Denton have the business acumen to make lasting business decisions. We will be speaking with a few businesswomen about their livelihoods. These women have one thing in common. They are entrepreneurs involved in Texas Women's University's Stoke program, in which they stoke the fire of businesswomen across Texas. Texas Women's University offers programs like Stoke and Accelerate Her that hope to increase the number of female-owned businesses in Denton. If you can prove your business is 51% female-owned, you might be invited into the cohort of businesswomen that are provided the opportunity for mentorship in an office space at Stoke. Accelerate Her describes itself as an incubator program in which mentors help influence the future of female-owned commerce in Denton. Jen Johnson, our first guest, is a PhD, a an HR consultant. She's a burnout specialist and an author. She wrote the book Thrive. That's THRIV. Sounds perfect.
Oh, good. I have a blue snowball, so I do a lot of podcasts.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah, I saw that you do a lot of appearances. I saw. I was scrolling through your LinkedIn. Mm-hmm. So you were part of the Accelerate Her 2023 cohort that was brought in. I'm going to go right to the bottom. What is something that Accelerate Her and Stoke has taught you?
I think it's really just taught me the power of community in business. The majority of my time in business as a business owner, I've kind of gone it alone. When I was in my PhD program, most people were looking towards becoming a professor and I was becoming a consultant. And so I was always kind of different, and so I just in the beginning used a lot of internet searches and things like that. And I hired coaches, but I was never really intentional about having relationships with other people in business, especially women. And so what's really resonated with me about the program is really just the power of minds coming together to solve problems in my business, whether it's like a marketing problem or a software problem. They've really helped me to think through challenges in ways that I wouldn't be able to do alone and I haven't been able to do alone. And so, the internet's a great place to get help, but I think there's just something about personal business relationships that are so much more powerful.
Yeah, you're trying to juggle your work-life balances. I read what you said on excessive work emails and the toll that it can take on employees. Mm-hmm. How can an employee communicate to a superior, to a boss that there is too much communication going on?
Yeah. So, the first thing I think is to set boundaries and to set them kindly and to be consistent with them. So for example, let's say that let's say that your team consistently checks emails in the evenings, or you have a group chat and people are constantly texting in the evenings. A great way to do that is to say, let's say someone sends you a message and you can say something like, I see this, but I'm with my family now. I'll catch up with you tomorrow morning. Mm-hmm. Or you could say something like, I just want to acknowledge I received this. I'm busy tonight, but I'll get on this first thing in the morning, or whenever it is. Right. And so you're just kind of like putting a little hint out there that you're doing things at night, right? That you have another life, that you have a personal life. And then another thing is, if that doesn't work, it's like kind of dropping these little hints doesn't work. You can be more direct with your supervisor and just say that, you've been looking into how to prevent burnout. And one of the strategies is to manage work communications in the evening. And would that be something that you could talk about as a team? Because, we're all concerned right now in, 2023 about retention. And so, it's a really great opportunity to bring something to the table to your supervisor that they probably haven't thought about or they maybe don't know about. And so you're not only setting a boundary for yourself and opening up this conversation, but your supervisor can see it as you really bringing value to the table because you've been looking into how to help with retention and how to reduce burnout.
That's what your book is about, right? Thrive. Is that an acronym, Thrive?
It is Thriving After Burnout. And the acronym are 5 evidence-based practices for managing burnout. So one of them is tend to yourself, harnessing social support. Have to think about how to spell R. Recharging through detachment, igniting compassion, satisfaction, and vowing to honor your humanness. And each one of those pillars has a set of evidence-based practices that folks can implement that are free. They just involve using our brains and doing things a little different than maybe we normally would.
Now you said a while ago that you've gone into business by yourself into consulting, right? Mm-hmm. In your experience, what is something that you've learned that you can only come through experience?
One of the things that for me it's more of a mindset, I think, is that I've realized that it's okay for dreams to change. Mm-hmm. And, when I first started in my business, it was temporary. I was a teaching fellow at UNT, part-time, and I needed some extra money. And I thought, I'll do some consulting on the side. And, I had these plans to be a professor, but then I graduated in the middle of a pandemic and there was hiring freezes. And all of a sudden I'm a full-time consultant. And so there was like a process of grieving that dream, but also realizing that's not what I want anymore. And so I think even as a business owner now, over the years, the longer you're in business, you realize that businesses have to pivot. People talk about how Blockbuster, the reason they went under is because there was a big change that needed to happen and they didn't take it. They didn't take the opportunity. And so businesses just by nature change. And so sometimes that means our dreams for what our business is change. And so I think for me, as my business grew, I almost saw these pivots originally as a failure, right? That this wasn't what I thought my business was going to be. Like I originally started out just working with educational institutions. And then now I've expanded into working with corporate clients and nonprofits. And so I could say to myself, well, my dream was to help teachers. Well, my dream was really just to help people, right? And I felt most comfortable with teachers because that was my background. But now look how many more people I'm helping. And so it's like, I've had to realize that in my business and in business in general, that goals and dreams change and that's okay. And that's normal. But it was a big learning curve for me because I thought, well, this isn't when I started my PhD, this wasn't, my dream. Right. But here I am and doing this thing and it's become my dream. Right. And then over time, my dream and my goals and my vision of my business has morphed as the need for that has happened.
Our next guest is Catherine Waddell, owner of Fall Magic.
I'm tired, but I'm okay. How are you?
I'm right there with you.
Yeah, I'm sure you're feeling it right now too, but I'm taking 7-week courses.
Those are tough.
So I just had my midterms, and now I'm doing my finals. So.
What are you studying?
So at the school I'm currently at, it's technically a marketing degree. And I'm planning on transferring to TWU to get their business administration entrepreneurship degree.
So I saw on your website that you were your services page is under construction. What do you want? Or can you give us a little peek behind the curtain? What are you planning on?
So I already have it pretty much planned. I just haven't had time to post anything. I'm planning on offering for businesses that already exist, and it doesn't have to be a brick and mortar. It's great to be on this stuff, even if you don't have a brick and mortar, for SEO, search engine optimization. Google My Business, or how, from a consumer standpoint, how you would find a business through like Google Maps, Google Search. Let me put my stuff on Do Not Disturb. So anytime you search in Google, like let's say and I'm not following my own device yet. I haven't set my own page up, but you can just like if like I was already on there, you could search fall magic, and then typically when you search something that's already in Google Maps, it's like one of the first things that pops up because Google loves to promote itself. I think everybody loves to promote themselves a little bit, but Google especially is like, yes, here, we already have this info. Take it.
So what is your brain? Right? You said it right there. What is fall magic?
So fall magic started because I'm disabled and neurodivergent, and and also queer. So I wanted representation that I never got growing up. I was diagnosed with ADHD and a couple other cognitive disabilities when I was a kid, and I've experienced ableism my entire life from it. And as I've gotten older, I've like learned that I have more than just those things. Plus, I've now have physical disabilities with having IBS and something back problem. Hopefully 2024 me will figure that out. But I just wanted that representation, like the IBS stickers that I have, like the I've been shitting and didn't shit pants today. Those have been some of my favorite ones to sell, and even not sell, because it gets people, like, even if they don't buy something, they walk by and they see it and they laugh and they go, yep, that's accurate, or they'll tell me like that they also have IBS, and that makes me feel so much less alone as a person, because when I first had IBS, I didn't know what was going on with my body, and I was just wearing Depends every day so that I wouldn't like just ruin my outfit because I didn't know what to do. It wasn't until I think 2022, the beginning of 2022, that I figured out I'm allergic to gluten, and that was the main reason that like my body was reacting like this. But I'm still allergic to other things. That's a whole thing. So yeah, just representation overall, because it really helps build community.
I'm right there with you. You listed you're listing off your symptoms, and I have the same shit going on. I got ADHD. This is my professor is going to be the only person listening to this, so he's going to. I'm right there with you. I got IBS, ADHD, dyslexia. I'm dyslexic. I got dyscalculia as well.
Yeah, I have that one. Yep.
So so you're not alone in that. And I was looking through your page. I love the representation in the what was it? It was the
on the blog post.
The collection you're doing with the where you donate portions of the proceeds to. How does that work? Do you make any profit from that, or does all that money go?
So on those, how I had it set up was, because normally when you make a product in a normal business setting, I suppose, you're supposed to like have that the portion of like the money that's not the profit part yet, just the cost. You're supposed to pay your workers for that, right? I'm a little cray-cray, and I shouldn't use that word. That's not good. I'm a little not thoughtful sometimes for myself. There, that's better. I was like, no, I want all of this money to go to this stuff, because my only clause to that was, I was like, I'm not giving the money that I had to spend to buy the stickers for free. Like that's at that point I'm making negative money. So I just went ahead and was like, okay, let me pay off the stickers, and then once these stickers are paid for, which they already are, I've already donated, I forget the amount, have it on my Instagram stories, though. I've already donated to all 4 of the nonprofits for the first time, and then I'm probably going to wait until later in 2024 to make the next donation, because I'd like for them to be bigger, because I know that these nonprofits typically have processing fees. They shouldn't. I wish they didn't, but it is what it is. So just to help reduce processing fees for them, I plan on waiting until later in 2024 when it's a little bit more substantial of a donation.
You are a part of the Accelerate Her Stoke program. How's the application process, and how is that going? I guess you're still working in the offices over there.
So we're about to wrap up. We're actually in our last few weeks. It wraps up I think our last meeting is at the end of December, and then we have an official wrap up event in January. I think we've pinned the date for January 18th. I'm not sure though, so don't quote me. But for the application process itself, it was pretty easy. They had a form on their website, and then from there, I got maybe a week or 2 later, I can't remember. This was several months ago. They emailed me and were like, "Hey, we'd like to interview you. You're selected as one of the X amount of finalists for this, but we have to narrow it down because realistically they only have so much room in their conference room, which is the big reason why there's only so many people that they can do. I'm sure that there's probably restraints too on money from the grant. But anyway, you also asked how the process is going, correct?
Yes.
So I've been really enjoying it because as a solo entrepreneur, you're kind of in your head a lot, and being able to talk about other things, whether it's with the mentors or the other people in the cohort, has been really amazing because I get out of my own head. I get to hear somebody's feedback, that it's not going to be someone being "Oh, why are you doing that?" Or sometimes as a solo entrepreneur that's just launched their business, it's really early stages, it can be hard to find people that understand and get the experiences you're going through, especially when it's family who they don't want you to be broke. So they're "What are you doing? Why?"
Well, how old is Fall Magic?
So Fall Magic has been a DBA since November 21st of 2022, so a little over a year old. Before that, it was just kind of a hobby. I hadn't really figured out what I was doing. I kind of figured it out along the way. I had been doing it for a couple of months, just popping up at market, selling stuff, and the stickers that I made to heal myself then ended up just kind of taking off, and I was I think this is what I want. So, and then during that time, my back had gotten so bad that I had to use a cane, and now I have to use a cane fairly regularly. I have something I've heard before called, and I love this term, dynamic disability. So your symptoms are going to look different every day, and you may need a walker one day, you may need a wheelchair one day, you may need a cane one day. It really just depends on what's going on with your body in that day. I think it's great to be able to use those things and not cause more pain to myself. So.
Well, I mean, a little off subject.
Yeah, sorry.
Have you heard No. Have you heard conversion disorder?
Mm-mm.
No? Okay. It sounds like this is exactly what you're describing. My wife has conversion disorder. She probably doesn't want me talking about it on the podcast, but here we are. But the way you're describing it, it sounds exactly like that. It's different day by day.
I mean, it's kind of like that for anybody with any type of disorder, whether it's physical or not physical. I actually learned about like the term dynamic disabilities from this girl named Samantha on Instagram that I wish I could remember her name right now, but I just woke up not that long ago. She uses a wheelchair almost every day because of multiple disorders and disabilities. And for me, like getting to see her talk about her stuff and how like it's okay to use different types of mobility aids has been really nice, because before it was trying to deal with like just invisible disabilities, and since then now it's like, okay, how do I get over like these feelings of awkwardness where because people definitely do stare when they're like, didn't she use a cane the other day? Or people see me and they're like, oh, she looks fine. Why is she parked in a handicap spot? Like I can tell they're giving me those looks because as a child, my mom got chased down for something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So like you shouldn't have to see parking in that spot is like the general ableism vibes, and it's a little scary to think about, but it's also good to like try and like smash the stigmas there.
I was looking through your stickers, and I saw the not all disabilities are visible. I believe it. I like that it was on that clear sticker, right?
Mm-hmm.
I really like that. That was very interesting. That was really well done.
Thank you.
If you could give us a glimpse of something that you've learned while at participating in Stoke.
Mm-hmm. So I think the most important thing that I've learned, honestly, and this may sound cliche, but I don't care, is just getting rid of like imposter syndrome and like not discounting myself. It's really easy to do that as like someone that's like female presenting or a woman, both. So yeah, just not discounting yourself is huge, because like it's really easy to be like, as like a sensitive person, I'm like, oh no, I don't want to like upset anybody. Here, I'll like give it for cheaper. It's like, no, you're worth your time, you're worth your knowledge, and that's also been really great for me because of like deciding to pivot into also offering services so that I'm not hurting my body constantly at pop-up markets. Just to like hear those reminders from my mentors and my fellow people in the program is just, no, you need to charge this amount. And like it's not just for me either. Like I've said it to other people, and it's fun because we like sometimes we don't want to take our own advice. Like I said earlier about like I'm not on Google Maps, I'm not on Apple Maps. Those are services I'm going to offer, but I haven't done them for myself yet. I've done them for other businesses, but sometimes it's easier to like focus on somebody else than yourself. So here we are.
Sorry, I'm just looking at my list of questions here. What is something that you've discovered that comes with experience of starting your own business?
That's a good question. I think the biggest thing that I've learned is there's a lot that you don't know. I've attended quite a few of the virtual events through the Center for Women for Entrepreneurship which I never thought about doing before doing this program, but even if people aren't in this program, it's a great resource. And honestly, like, I watched a couple of those where it's like they talked about all the different kinds of like insurance, and I'm like, oh my gosh, there's so much here. And it's even harder when it's like, because I have both a in-person type of business and an e-commerce. format, and you've got liability insurances and all kinds of insurances for both of those instances. So I'm like, I wonder if there's like without talking to a professional about it, it's like, is there a way to like make that less expensive because of like we live in 2023 now, about to be 2024, like things are way different now as far as like coverage goes. Like there's got to be like other ways to bundle stuff or something. I don't know.
We've gotten to a gray area that I don't understand.
I know, me neither. That's why I'm just
like liability insurance for a sticker company sounds insane. It's a liability for a sticker company sounds insane. I've never heard of such thing.
It's important though. I actually had somebody like at one of my booths this year. They asked me like about the quality of my stickers, and most of my stickers are printed with Sticker Ninja, which is a great company. They completely align with my values, and they claim that their stickers are dishwasher safe and like 2 to 3 years, like water resistant or waterproof. I try and say water resistant instead of waterproof because I don't want anybody to get it twisted. But this one guy was like, can I put this on the outside of my aquarium? And I was like, I don't see why not. And he's like, I got you. You can't do that. That's bad. It will kill your fish. And I was like, all right.
It sounds like there's a lot of pitfalls.